Welcome back to Nickland's Comic Corner Classic / Non-Classics. Excuse me. This uh this is episode number 2797 and double shot number 2691. We actually one trade here and some annuals. The trade is Superman Unconventional Warfare, which collects Avengers of Superman issues 627 to 632, along with the backup stories from 625 and 626. Why the backup stories here? Well, technically, this trade here is also the unofficial start. This basically is the start of Greg Rucka's 2-year run of the book. Yes. A run that would end with the Infinite Crisis stuff. Yes, so the backup story for 625 is the introduction of Lieutenant Lucio. She become a heavily recurring character in the Greg Rucka run, and then once this run ends, she disappears. Never to be seen again. Don't know why, just that's basically the backup story to her introduction. It's kind of basically the best way to describe this character. It's like, okay, we need a new detective because Maggie Stark's from Batman, so we need a hard detective to basically in this book. So they made her a recurring character. Basically, a lot of these issues just set up for stuff to explore throughout this 2-year run. So, and the 626 is basically just a Lois Lane one, and a lot of this one is basically like her investigating some military stuff in here, and we also get the introductions to Ruin in here. Who Ruin is, they never reveal that until the final, till like basically Ruin revealed. Yes, it's a mystery for 2 years. It's like Rucka basically kept this mystery going for 2 years for this one. Yep, and we also see death of a Green Lantern villain named Exum, just a minor villain. Yes, and also her basically who you see as partner Skeeter. He gets cut up by 632. It's basically kind of what best to describe these issues. It's like Superman involved in some detective work, which is interesting, given the fact he also goes to space in these issues, encounters some Green Lantern. There's one point in these issues where, get this, Lois hears basically wind blowing through her window. She assumes her husband's back, but nope, it's Wonder Woman. Yes, Wonder Woman is here, basically one of her closest friends. And a brief conversation, and it's a brief scene. I do appreciate Rick basically including her in. Well, there probably is a good reason why that Rick included her in. You want to know why? Because he was also writing Wonder Woman this period of time. Yes, he was also, fun fact, the final writer of Wonder Woman Volume 2. And my guess is the reason why he included her, because his run was, I think it was like halfway through his 4-year run on Wonder Woman, and he just probably had a guest appearance here because, well, he was writing Adventure Superman, so why not? But I gotta say, unlike, let's say, Action Comics, which basically was Chuck Austin's weird ideas, Adventures of Superman under Greg Rucka was actually really good, and this is the end of Greg Rucka's run. Yeah, you think, Nick, this is kind of weird if you just went backwards. Well, that's how the trades got to me. I got Volume 2 and then Volume 3, now I got Volume 1. But I do get it. This is a great start for this run, and, well, I've already discussed the rest already. As for Ruin himself, well, they revealed in the final story arc is actually, first thing, it's Pete Ross. Nope, it's Emil Hamilton. All because he thought that, well, Superman's second solar radiation and the fact we had much time left. 4.5 billion years, that's plenty of time. And that was the reason for it. But great issues. Love them. I'm going to give Superman Unconventional Warfare a 9 out of 10. Final thoughts on Greg Rucka's run on Avengers Superman. Yeah, this is the end of his run. And it's kind of interesting, though, they started running his backup stories in 625, 626, even as part of the Godfall storyline. Yes. So, I gotta admit, the run was interesting, but I kind of thought this was I should read from the beginning. But it's only 3 trades, and here's a weird thing related to the Unconventional Warfare. It is the, like, believe it or not, like the first trade release from modern stuff, because DC's like in some previous stuff, but But it seems like this is a weird thing. The 600s from like 620 from like if you look from like 600 to 648, not many issues are in trade, and I do mean not many. Well, 624 to 649 is in trade. That's indeed true. They are in trade. Um, you know, it's also in trade. Well, 623 is in trade. I'll review that some error points and minutes they believe, but also like 606, 608, 609, 623, and like basically like as for wondering where 624 is, it's actually not in trade. The earliest issue actually, well, it's the first like story arc per se that's not connected to some other book that they have here, and then like what happened this one wrapped up. Well, the Venture Superman thing ended, and it was simply just retitled to be just Superman Volume 1, which is 650. Yep. But we're not done here just yet, because we're here discussing next the Adventures of Superman Annuals. And we're here discussing Annuals number, if I get the thing here, Annuals 3, 4, and 6 through 9. I'm also discussing all 4 annuals for Superboy. Well, I decided, why the heck not? So, in the very first annual for Adventures of Superman, in annual number 4, number 3, let's start this one here. This is a Armageddon 2001, written by Louise Simonson, art by Brian Hitch. Yes, another early Brian Hitch book. Well, this is basically like, what if Superman married Maxima in this alternate future, at least hang out with her? That's kind of in a way what happens here. This is after Lois dies and then he marries Maxima. But that's kind of what the issue is. Like, yeah, this is something that basically Max wanted to do, and this alternate future basically has happened where they get married, and the marriage is okay. And then, of course, basically, well, it seems like everything's fine. Yeah. The only reason he leaves the planet because he basically is Lois died. So, at least the future where Lois died, of course, finds some alien. And it's just a possible future for him. But, it's good. Next up, we have annual number 4, which, yes, it's an Eclipso annual. And it involves Lobo and Guy Gardner. Written by, well, we have guest appearance in here by Legion, the modern day equivalent to the Legion of Superheroes. Of course, you have Hawkman guest stars in issue 2, along with Nightwing, Elongated Man, Black Canary, Crimson Fox. Yeah, basically, it's all stuff related to Justice League America. And Aquaman's here as well, of Metamorpho. Oh, and it's all about volcanoes. Now, the writer of this book is Robert Lauren Fleming, which I believe became the writer of the ongoing for Eclipso. Yeah, it's basically various heroes. We have Legion, Justice League America, and Nightwing just happen to meet up here. And then, of course, they basically meet up here because they're finding an Eclipso possessed Superman. But unlike the other Eclipso books, basically, this book actually was really good. I really enjoyed this one. Now, number 5, let's skip over that because basically that was collected in a return of the return of. Come on, thank you. Now, this annual here is the reason why I decided to do number 1 for Superboy. It's a 2-part story known as Secret 7, where it's an Elseworld story in the future of this Secret 7 group, where like these aliens invade the planet and the superheroes kind of failed stopping and they kind of conquered the world, and it's like superheroes coming together. And the story continues over in the Superboy Annual #1. Oh, by the way, this book is Carl Kitzler with Brock L. Hoare on the artwork. It's mostly put the superheroes coming back together after an alien invasion, and this is like years future. And the story continues over in #1. Also in this future, get this: Lex Luthor is basically his mind and his brain is the body of Metallo. Yeah. And of course, they reunite with Wally West, who has lost his legs, but still fit in the Flash costume. He basically can still super speed, but not much. And move over to the annual for Superboy, his very first annual, which I find interesting the fact that his first annual is a crossover with Avengers Suit #6. And this is not written by Cal Ketzler. It's basically you have Superman with, looks like Lana? Yes. Also, the reason why he's with her because Lois is missing. And the whole story is basically we're looking for Lois. And Green Lantern is briefly losing his powers. Superboy, and eventually, oh crap, it's Metallo. Yeah, it's all to do with, though Metallo, it's like, well, actually it's Lex. Where it's like, oh, it's just the robot body. And like, oh crap, it's the Terminator. Well, that's because John Byrne designed him that way. Yep. I gotta admit, this two-part story was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Moving on to annual #7. This down here is another one of the year 1 annuals. Carl Kitzler is narrating here with Ron Wagner on the artwork. Yep. The thing with this annual is it's a bit of extension upon a scene from John Byrne's Man of Steel, where it's like a where you have this captain basically, well, of course Megazord's here too, where it's like the whole thing is like Lois following him the whole annual. It's like the whole annual itself is like, oh, let's expand upon a few scenes from Man of Steel, but done really well. And something that John Byrne directed this one. And then we have annual #8, which is like the Dead Earth in the future. This is written by Tom Payer, artwork by two different artists, Mike Collins and Derek Cullen. It's basically like Earth in the future. That's mostly put exactly what Legend of Earth is, where like the new Superman is this weird alien guy, and he dies in the story, and that's it per se. The final Avengers Superman, yes, the final ever annual released, which is interesting. The fact that this was the last ever annual release Avengers Superman, and the cover title of this one is Weird Western Tales, and written by John Rossum and artwork by Akina, and it's a Western story, and done really well. It's the Electric Superman involved in a Western style story, a little bit aliens mixed in. Yeah, but really fun stuff. And of course, that's the opening story. It's a backup story too here, called The Journey of the Horseman, written by Paul Grest, art by Iquir Levigard. It's this other story involving these other characters, and Electric Superman is in the story, kind of, but it's like stuff going here. It's not as good as the opening story here, but really good stuff here. Next up we have discussed here before we end this video. I figured though, because I was reviewing them #1, wanted to take a look at basically annuals 2 through 4 for Superboy. Why not? We have annual #2, written by Barbara and Carl Kitzler, and Dave Brewer in the artwork. This book is mostly put basically like Superboy's first year active in Metropolis. Actually, more like he's in Hawaii. It's just, the best way to describe this annual, it's a bit of an expansion upon like what's going on in the main book per se. That's the best way to describe it. And of course, the guest stars by Superman. Really fun annual. Excuse me. Superboy Number 3. This one, in this reality, it's sort of a version of the Aztecs. And get this, Superboy and Superman are Mexican in this reality, and Superman is a guy who runs a temple who is a worshiper of the sun god. But the thing is, the guy is a dick. Yes, he's a complete dick. Superboy is named his heir. By the way, in case you're curious though, did when the Kessels write this one? Yes, Barbara Kessel wrote this one, which is interesting that she wrote 3 of the annuals so far. I'll discuss basically in 4 minutes. So it's like a what if story, like not exactly dead. It's basically what if it was called legendary. Like what if Superman exists? What if there was a virgin Superman existed in Aztec times? And by the end of the story, he's killed by the sun god for being corrupt. And Superboy is Dean, the new Superman. He's like, no, don't call me that until I earn it. But this annual was really good. Yeah. Next up is the 4th and final annual. And to be curious, did the Kessels write this one? No. Believe it or not, they didn't write the final annual. This is basically my greatest adventure. It's a sci-fi story. Actually more like a jungle story. Okay, so it is written by Eddie Berganza. Okay, let me briefly explain about this person. Okay, I don't know if this is true, but apparently this guy was a sexual harasser at DC Comics. He would constantly sexually harass his coworkers, and he got away with it. And a lot of people, I've heard that he should have been fired for what he did. I don't know if he ever was, but the book is really good. The best way to describe this one is basically Jungle Boy story done in the style of Tarzan. Have Tanya be Jane, and also they do in fact at one point the other girl, the blonde girl, she does ask Superboy, "Do you love Tanya?" And he doesn't answer her, but it's an absolute really fun annual. Yeah, that's one thing interesting about the Superboy annuals. Unlike Avengers Superman, which all those annuals were really good. I enjoyed every single one. Superboy, all 4 really good. Yep. So with this, basically all discussed. By the way, I give the Superboy annuals a 10 out of 10. The Avengers annuals discussed, also give it a 10. Of course, I would give a rating for Avengers Superman, the Superman Offensive Warfare. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the like button. Also, reviewing these 2 annuals, these 2 series of annuals, Avengers Superman, just talk about the main issues, and same with Superboy when I get a chance to get back to it. When? Don't know yet. Okay? The next video. Bye.